Are you curious about how some of the Wild West buildings currently on the market compare to each other and whether they fit together? Well, you're in luck because today I'm going to be comparing them. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been comparing some of the Wild West buildings available on the market from different manufacturers. And we've looked at renderers on Perry Miniatures, plastic kit. We've looked at some WarBases MDF kits. And we've also previously had a look at the Great Escape Games plastic buildings that came out last year at Salute. And today I thought we would put them all together, see how they look together, and pass comment on whether you could make up your Wild West town using a range of different manufacturers. So without further ado, let's head down to the gaming table and let's see how they look together. Okay, so here we have three different buildings from three different manufacturers. We'll start off on the left hand side with the trading post, and that is one of the pre-printed or the terrain ready MDF kits from WarBases. Now I have put one of the Great Escape Games hitching posts in front of it, and obviously we've got Clint himself as the good. That kit, it was really quick to put together, as I mentioned in the video. Now the detail level is pretty good. Not a lot on the inside, so I need to wallpaper the inside, but generally speaking, it's a really simple, quick kit to put together, and at £16 was really not a bad price considering how quick I could put it together. Now, in terms of having a figure with it, it's about right. Obviously, I've got my figure on a base, which you have to take into consideration, and it is slightly thicker than a plastic base, but I put them on a penny instead. Notably, I think that works really well. Now, it's really interesting seeing it next to the second kit here, which is from Perry Miniatures, and it actually, the middle one there looks almost smaller than the other two. It really is quite interesting how different in size it is, even though it is certainly sold as a 1:56 scale building. Now, what I do like about this is the variety, the fact that you get a chimney that goes with it. You've got multiple doors. In fact, there's 3 doors on this, and you get a chair and you get the 12 barrels that come with it as well. So I think this one retails at about £18.50, so £2.50 more than the WarBases one. And I think it looks really good. It was a little bit more fiddly to put together, needing some plastic glue. I did have to paint it and do all the weathering on it. But I actually really quite enjoyed that. And it does look pretty good. I would say the figure in front there, that is not a Great Escape Games figure. That's in fact, I think, a War Games Foundry figure, but that looks about the right proportion. And again, it actually looks really good, and it does look different to the other ones around it, different sort of sizing. But I don't think that's really too much of an issue. And in fact, quite a lot of buildings would have been different in the Wild West. So, not as cookie cutter as we sort of see nowadays. So I think it looks really quite good. And then moving on to the third and final building on the right here is the building from Great Escape Games. Now, you might not be able to tell on camera, but one of the things I really like about this kit is the plastic has this wood grain effect, very much molded into the plastic. And all I had to do with this was to prime it a dark brown and then dry brush it with a lighter brown, and you get that wood effect very quickly. I've obviously added a bit of color to the window frames and the door frame and the door itself, and I might actually put a little bit around the sort of top edge and side edges of this building as well, just to really accent the building. I also need to put a sign on there to say what it is. But what is really interesting in this comparison is that the Great Escape Games building on the right is designed for a boardwalk to be added, which I've put in front, as you can see, and then I've also put the hitching post and water trough as well. Now, if I took that away, the door would be a little bit higher. You'd almost have to step up into it, which, is how a lot of the buildings were designed. The other two, essentially, the WarBases one, the base that the building sits on is that boardwalk, and the plastic kit in the middle from Perry's has a boardwalk essentially that you attach to the front of the building. The building itself doesn't have a base, and so if I lifted it up, anything inside would literally be left in place. It wouldn't go with the building. So it does give you a little bit of difference. And it's not unusual in a Wild West town to see sort of some buildings built for a boardwalk with the doors slightly raised, and others with them slightly lower. And in fact, some boardwalks had multiple levels of boardwalk. So you could absolutely see buildings like this next to each other. And I think that really helps the buildings fit together nicely. Now, the center one from Perry's and the one on the right from Great Escape Games, those both being plastic kits, do have an element of sort of changeability. So you can customize these to a certain extent. You can change on the center one, you can change the back wall, and that's about it. I mean, the chair, you could move that around, you could put some of the barrels down, but apart from that, it's pretty much as it is. And of course, the sign is plain, so you can create whatever you want on that. With the Great Escape Games one, you can, I believe, you could put multiple single-story buildings together to make a multi-story building. It's also got an internal wall with a doorway inside, which you could also customize where roughly that is in the building as well. So a little bit of customization or customability, whatever you want to phrase it as. Whereas the MDF one doesn't have that. You essentially get that kit, and then internally, if you wanted to add walls, you'd have to do that yourself using, I don't know, scraps of other materials that you might have lying around. So in terms of, I'm sure you want to hear from me, which one do I think is the best? And to be quite honest, I don't know. I actually like the fact that they're all different, and I think that's going to make the town look more interesting. I really like the pre-printed stuff because it's so quick to put together and put on the table from WarBases. I really like the look and how enjoyable it was to paint up from Perry's. That plastic kit, it really did feel like a classic plastic kit, and that was a lot of fun. And then the Great Escape Games one, I have to say, I really do like the texture of the walls, and the internal walls are just the same. So there's a lot, I think, that you can really do with that kit. And actually, just by changing the base color of the primer, you could just get these buildings looking different as well. So there's a lot of variety in those. All I would say is the single stories that they do look a little bit samey, but they've got some double story ones and some other buildings as well. So all in all, I'm not gonna say one's better than the other. I think it's just really nice to have a variety of different Wild West buildings. So if you're looking to build your town, definitely check out these three manufacturers. Really, really worthwhile. And there's others out there as well that I haven't mentioned. Companies like Red Vectors have Red Vectors, which is part of Pendragon. They've got some Wild West MDF buildings. I believe Blots as well. They're quite a cheap MDF company. They have some Wild West buildings as well, I believe. WarBases have some Wild West buildings which are not pre-printed, so they're about half the price. So if you don't mind painting MDF buildings, that's a way forward. Obviously, there's Sarissa as well, and the list is endless. There are so many companies out there, which really does show the great state that the hobby is in, that we have so many manufacturers producing good quality products. Now, that's going to really do it for this comparison. I wanted you guys to get an idea of what these three look like together. And obviously, if you do have comments or you've got other companies that you buy your buildings off, I'd love to hear in the comments what those companies are, because I'm always in the lookout for new buildings which can add a little bit of variety to my Wild West town. Now, as always, if you've enjoyed this video, then do please drop a like and hit that subscribe button. It does mean the world to me, and I really appreciate all the support recently that has been pouring in. The new subscribers, we are really pushing on, and the channel is growing and growing and growing, and it's so exciting at the moment just to see all that. So really, really huge thank you from me. Now, if you're interested in more content from the channel, then do check out my video on Sunday. At the time of recording this Bank Holiday Monday, I am very keen to start Minas Tirith. I just don't know how my week is looking in terms of actually getting any progress done, but we'll see. If I can get some progress done, then maybe episode 1 of Minas Tirith will be out on Sunday. If not, I'll have a look for what else I can share with you on Sunday. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.